This is Gary Atensa with CNTV, and today we're in Florida. I am here with Livyana. Since 2022, this growing holistic health support community has one purpose: to support each other so you can experience better health outcomes. I'm joined here with the growth strategist, technologist, and founder of this Live Better platform. Mario, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to start off a little bit about yourself. You were formerly educated at the University of Maryland and at the University of Miami Herbert Business School. Your experience as a consultant over a dozen years has helped people and organizations release their phoenix to achieve growth at all stages. Share with us how the goal to make people the difference so they can make an impact in the world around them really has become your passion.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I view it is everyone has this thing that they're trying to figure out, right? And then what is that thing, right? Now, a lot of times in the career space, it's certain things. In, your personal space, it's certain things, right? In your health space, it's certain things, right? And then the way we kind of thought about it was, all right, so if on the consulting side, we're helping people in all these different areas, right? How can we bring that to the core of what we are, which is in healthcare, right? And then that's how we created this Livyana platform, right? How can we make people live better, not just in their career space, not just in their personal space, right? But in their health space.
Taking technology and you're making it a happier place for everybody. You're now moving the solutions into this app. Let's start off, first of all, it's estimated that 133 million Americans, nearly half the population, suffer from at least one chronic illness. Yet, many of those would agree they feel alone in their journey. Is loneliness common for many people when it comes to health issues?
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you, from my experience in talking to people, right, whether it's a chronic condition or non-chronic condition, it's just people trying to figure out what to do, right? They don't know it, right? And the physicians in the system, the medical system is great, but they're looking at it from a very medical perspective, right? Not from a human emotional perspective, right? So I'll give you an example where with me myself, I went through it, where I was morbidly obese and I had to lose all this weight on my own in a very lonely journey, right? And throughout that lonely journey, I started thinking, okay, what can we do? Thank God I have my wife next to me, helping me, right? But then there's a frustration between someone going through the journey and someone supporting the journey. And that's where we said, oh, instead of concentrating the health side in the system, let's think about the outside when we actually all end up. Right? And then that's why it's called Livyana, right? And Livyana stands for live because you are not alone. You are not alone in these health journeys. And we believe in 5 spiritual realms of health, right? Emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, economic health, right? And then mental health. And each realm of health impacts your physical health. And that's where the support community comes into it.
Chronic loneliness can occur and cause isolation. Even for people with a spouse or a partner, is the need to be understood a desire that many times goes unmet during this critical time?
Absolutely. It goes unmet multiple times, and it's, I tell people all the time when it comes to health, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? You're going to encounter different situations in health throughout your lifetime. Sometimes you'll be a patient, and sometimes you're going to be a caregiver, and then sometimes you might become a wellness coach, right? Because you live these journeys and you've got this passion
that is interesting
to help people, right, through that journey. So, for example, I have a passion to help people through obesity journeys because I used to be obese. I know how that journey feels. My brother's a type 1 diabetic. He has a passion to help other type 1 diabetics in their journey. Because he'll never forget when he was diagnosed in that room as a type 1 diabetic.
Interesting. So it really takes both sides there. For most, our local community is not equipped to support us in this kind of health crisis, especially emotionally. Livyana is an app that can be downloaded where you will find a community of others who are going through similar situations or they're just there to support you. How did this idea come about? Share with me a little bit there.
We were ideating a lot, me and my wife, my brother-in-law, on how we could impact the healthcare system, right? And now my brother-in-law and my wife, they're physicians, right? I've been in health IT consulting for the better part of my career, as you mentioned earlier, right? So when we kept thinking about what can we do, we kept coming to this existential problem of, I've gone through X, I was alone. You've gone through X, you were alone. You've gone through X, you were alone, right? And then we're like, okay, let's create a next generation type of support system, right? It's not about living through obesity or living through a cancer journey or a diabetic journey on your own. It exists, right? Lots of people are diagnosed with this. It's a matter of connecting with each other, right? And then find those commonalities in health, right? To support each other, to become beacons of light, right? What we say is igniting the spark within yourself to produce hope to the community.
Interesting. I mean, it's been said that it takes a village to raise a child. Is this a village that raises the morale of each of its members with equal amounts of really give and take going on at the same time?
Yes, that's exactly what it is, right? It's a village, a community of people that are going through multiple types of journeys, right? And then figuring out, how do I live with this journey, right? And me sometimes being a supporter, and me sometimes being an ask, right? I'm asking and then I'm giving, right? It depends on where you are in the journey.
I mean, unlike a physical community, this virtual village exists 24/7, where you can get support and give support anytime or anywhere. Explain how that's going to work. I mean, this is something you can really tap into at any time. Is that right?
No, that's correct, right? So one of the things that we thought about when we said, okay, if we're going to do this, how are we going to do this, right? We know that there are multiple physical support groups out there, right? Some are great, some aren't great. That's a reality of it. But we also know that depending on where you're from, depending on the experiences you've had, also depends on your approach of different things. So for example, the way we looked at it was, how do we 10x support outside of location, right? So for example, just because you go to this support group doesn't mean you can't get more support at a global level. And then people from different countries bring different ideas, different perspectives, right? And we are, the way I view it, right, Gary, is we are a culmination of perspectives and ideas and what we execute within ourselves, right? And then depending on how we execute those things, depending on how we get those things, will also help us in different ways.
I mean, the culmination of everyone coming together, there's power in that right there. I mean, it's available anytime, anywhere, and really for any journey in health. I imagine there's a wide array of people with health issues that can support. Or can you kind of give us some examples of some of the members that you've seen it attracting for, and who the community is going to be for?
Yeah, it's good. That's a great question. I mean, you can't boil the ocean at one time, right? So our concentration right now is obesity, heart disease, and diabetes, right? Then within the app, it's grown, right? So there are people there that are going through cancer journeys. There are people there that are just asking, questions about losing weight, right? And then there are people there, that are just trying to figure out, migraines, for example, right? And when you look up migraines, you'll see the way different people approach migraines, right? You'll see the way different people approach, for example, diet, right? Whether it's calorie deficit or massive working out, everyone has a different approach, right? And then you'll find your approach within that. Some stuff will work for you, some stuff won't. But the point is, you always have a community to come back and tap into, not just, to help you through your struggles, but to celebrate your wins.
I mean, I'm amazed because my daughter has some health issues, and many times we get more information off the comments of a post than we do the actual post itself. It's when these people are all coming together and you're starting to relate and understand that, hey, you're not in this alone. I understand this. Hey, I feel a lot better. I thought I was losing my mind a little bit. I mean, not only those with health issues, but what about those on the journey to wellness? What does that support look like, and are they welcome as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, we look at health as a holistic journey, right? And so, for example, that wellness perspective, right, that spiritual perspective of wellness, I think is very massive, you know, to both mental and physical health, right? The other side of that is wellness in itself, you know, is something that's being very sought out after, right? Especially with our mental health crisis, right? Health wellness has become really top tier depending on where you are in society, right? The jobs you have, right? The mindset you have, right? So for us, you know, you can't disconnect health and wellness. They'll always be together.
Interesting. I mean, eventually the feeling of being alone can cause anyone to lose hope. Hope is more than mere wishful thinking. It is the bedrock upon which you build your recovery, any doctor would tell you. Without hope or a desire to recover, there would be no motivation to get better. So therefore, is hope really the foundation of this online community?
You know what? You hit it spot on. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that we thought about is what is that core, right? And the one thing that I've said on different, you know, interviews that I've had and just talking to different people is hope is by far the strongest thing in health in any journey. Because if you lose hope, it's detrimental to both the patient and the caregiver. And if you have hope, it's that much better for the patient and the caregiver, right? And not losing hope is really what this community is about. Because you'll notice that people are going through the same journeys and all they're looking for is that person to say, you know what? You're not crazy. I went through that same thing. And just by saying that, Gary, that shoots up hope. That shoots up happiness. That shoots up, oh, I'm not crazy, right? It's not just me, right? And that's what we're longing for in a lot of these health journeys, right? It's not just you, right? It's you and everyone else. It's a matter of finding that.
Hope is something we need every day, but for those that are struggling through things, I mean, it's vital, definitely so. I mean, your community believes within every bump, there is a spark of hope waiting to be ignited. Can we all be a part of that spark? And how do the viewers out there get started? How do you get involved?
So the way to get involved is simple. You know, you go to the Google App Store or the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. You download our app, right? You're going to go through a series of steps and then you get involved directly into the community, right? The way you become that spark is by showing people they're not alone in the journey that you're walking, right? And that can be a physical journey, an emotional journey, a health journey, a mental health journey. The whole point here is ignite that spark by showing the world in Livyana, right? And bringing Livyana to the world to show that you're not alone in this. You can be in Guatemala, Ecuador, United States, Cameroon, and you're not alone in this. There are people living your journey.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I gave the stats at the beginning about just those in the United States, but we're talking about worldwide. This can be tapped into by anyone. You're kind of creating a mastermind, if you will, of a lot of people coming together. Mario, you have created a community that will run alongside of you toward a better future. A community where you can share your journey in a safe space, because no one should struggle on their own. Is this rewarding work for you as you've seen it launch and get some traction?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think this is one of those things that, you know, when you try to find, you know, your purpose and what you're trying to do in life and what's that mark you want to make, you know, and for me, you know, making this mark in health, I think is extremely important because it's going to not just help the people today, it's going to help everyone tomorrow. Because everything that's said on this app, everything that's aggregated on this app.
It's great. I mean, we're excited to share this with our audience, with our viewers out there. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. First of all, on the website, you can download the app for either the Apple or the Android, either one. Go download the program today. You can be a part of this spark and ignite some hope for people out there. If you or someone you know are experiencing the feeling of not being able to find someone who relates to you or even understands you, today you too can join this collective genius of health where you can experience better health outcomes. Once again, that is Livyana. Be the spark. You are not alone. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.